Hi there, this is Harry, and welcome back to Advanced English Lessons with Harry, where I try to help you to get a better understanding of the English language to improve your conversational skills, the chances you have to improve your business English, get that job that you've always wanted, whatever it is, we're here to help you. Okay, so getting back to the particular lesson today, as I said, it's an advanced English lesson, and today we're talking about think, okay? T-H-I-N-K, think. So it's an advanced English lesson. Collocations with think. Okay, I've got 10 of them. Okay, I'm going to go through them one by one. And as always, you know by now what I do. I'm going to go back, give you some examples, show you how you can use them. And then I repeat them at the end. And let's hopefully you'll be able to put some of them into practice. Okay, so here we go. As I said, 10 in total. The first, think hard. If you've forgotten something and it's deep in your mind, you know the situation, you're sitting there, you're typing away, and then you suddenly just get a blank. So you have to really think hard. What did I want to say? What was I trying to say? What was said in the meeting? So you have to really think hard. And then, a light goes off. Yes, I remember now. So to think hard means to think deep, something you've forgotten. If little Johnny comes home and Johnny's upset and he's crying because there was something happened in the school, and his mum sits him down and says, okay, come on, you can tell me what happened. I don't know, I can't remember, it was happened so quick. So he doesn't really know, and mum says, okay, I understand, but just think hard. Where were you? What happened? Who were you talking to? And then we'll be able to work it out, and we'll be able to see what happened. Okay, so eventually Johnny is able to tell his mum where he was, what he was doing, and mum gets it all sorted out, as mums do. Yeah, so you have to think hard about something. Okay. To think badly of or think badly about somebody. Don't think badly of him. He didn't really mean it. So we often use this expression when somebody did something perhaps a little bit insensitively, okay, but they're not really bad people. They just didn't really think. So perhaps the boyfriend forgot your daughter's birthday. Don't think badly of him. You know, he's been studying hard lately. He'll probably come around later and apologize, or he'll send something. And then a minute later, the doorbell rings and there's a big bunch of flowers sitting on the doorstep. So don't think badly of him. Don't think badly about him. Okay, so we can often think badly of people because we just take a disliking to them. Yeah, we see something in the newspapers or on the internet, on social media, and immediately we jump to a conclusion, or we immediately form an opinion, or our impressions are that really we don't like that person. We think badly of them. Okay, so when you think badly of somebody, you don't really like them, or there is something about them, or something they've done or said or forgotten to do or said that you don't like. So to think badly of or about somebody or something. To think out loud. You're sitting in a meeting and you apparently start talking to yourself. Well, actually, let me think. That if I was doing that, what would I do? What was that? He said, oh, don't mind me. I'm just thinking aloud. Yeah. So when you're thinking aloud or thinking out loud, you mean to keep it to yourself, but the words just come out. So you think out loud, and the people around you are looking at you thinking, I think Harry's lost it. Yeah. So to think out loud or to think aloud means to have some thoughts in your mind, but then you externalize them. They come out and people are looking at you and you say, oh, look, forget it. I was just thinking out loud. It was just an idea I had, but on second thoughts, it's not really going to work. So to think out loud. To think twice or think again. You need to think twice before you buy that car. I think to me, it looks really, really expensive. Or you should think again before you actually hand over the money, because why don't you get it checked by a mechanic? So this is some advice that a friend or a father might give you. You're really, really anxious to get your hands on your first car. You don't really take into account all the little issues. You're perhaps not so familiar with cars. You really only want to get behind that wheel and drive it. We've all been there. I was there when I bought my first car. One of my sons, when he bought his first car, nothing but trouble. And we spent a lot of money trying to get it repaired. So in situations like that, the advice that you should have listened to is think twice. Think twice before you do this. Think again before you make such a serious decision. You might get a job offer and you go home and think, yeah, it's really, really good. But when you're talking to your friends and they're saying, well, actually, do you really, really want that? You're going to have to move, or you're going to have to get up really, really early, and you're going to be traveling for long periods of time. If I were you, I'd think twice before accepting that job. Perhaps you need to think again about it. Why don't you take the weekend, let them know, and you'll give them the answer on Monday or Tuesday. So to think twice or to think again. Think positive or think positively. This is always a great piece of advice, to think positively about something. Even in the worst of situations, in the worst of times, we try to make good out of bad, so we try to think positively. Look, I know everything looks bad at the moment, everything is bleak, the cost of living is going up, the price of energy and fuel is going up, but I'm trying to think positively. Well, what could be positive about that? Well, it's probably going to end sooner or later, or the government are going to step in and they're probably going to spend more money on alternative sources of energy. That has to be good. So let's think positively about the bad things. Think positive. Yeah. Okay, there's good, there's bad, and out of bad situations, good will always rise. Okay, so we're trying to think positive or trying to think positively. And you do need a really, really strong consternation to think positively about everything. But you know what? It helps. If you really like this particular lesson, then please like the video. And if you can, please subscribe to the channel, because it really, really helps. Think straight. Now, often you hear this in the negative. I don't know, I just can't think straight today. I think I just didn't sleep well last night. I've been trying to come up with some ideas for that marketing plan, and I just can't think of anything. I think I'll go out for some fresh air or a walk, or I might even close the door and just put my feet up and have a doze for a few minutes. That might help. So to think straight means to think logically, to think clearly. Yeah? Now think straight. Where were you when you put the car keys down? So you can't find the car keys. You don't know where they are. You've got the house keys on it, the car keys, the office keys. Everything is on that little bunch of keys. So you need to think straight. Where were you? So you retrace your steps. Where were you when you left the office last night? Where did you go? Did you get on the bus? Did you get on the tube? Did you go to the shops? Did you call into the bank when perhaps you went into one of these ATM? That's it. I put my keys down on the bench beside the ATM machine. That's where they'll be. Okay, so to think straight, think logically. Or, as I said, some people often say, I can't think straight because there's too much noise around me. I need to get away from here. I need to close the door. I need some silence to enable me to think straight so that I don't have any disturbance. Think for yourself. Well, when we use this expression to think for yourself, it means to avoid doing things that other people tell you to do. Why can't you think for yourself for once? Why do you have to do everything that they do? I remember my mother and father telling me that many, many occasions. I want to join the Boy Scouts. Or I want to go here. Or I want to go there. Do you really? Is that just your friends? Well, everybody's going. All the guys in the class are going. Yeah, but why can't you just think for yourself? Is it really what you want to do? So when you think for yourself, you make the decisions that suit you. You make the decisions that are going to be in your best interests, and you make decisions that will be to your advantage. So learn to think for yourself. So it could be a bit of advice you give the kids. You'll soon learn how to think for yourself. When you get to 12 or 13 or 14, you'll make up your own mind. You won't be guided or directed by or led or misled by other people. You will think for yourself. Okay? So it's good advice. Doesn't always happen, but try and think for yourself. Think carefully. Well, we always get this advice about everything. Now, think carefully before you answer. If you're sitting in front of an examiner and they're telling you what they want, what sort of questions, for example, for IELTS or something like that. So think carefully before you answer. Don't make mistakes. Or if you want time to answer, you might say to the examiner, if I could just have 30 seconds or a minute. Yes, of course, just relax, think carefully, and then give me your answer. Okay? Or if you watch detective programs and they're looking for some evidence to support their investigation about some crime that has been committed, they might be talking to some witness. Now, we'd like you to think very, very carefully. What happened on the night in question? Where were you? What did you see? Just tell us every little detail that you can think of. Think very carefully. So you want clear message and clear information. To think big. Well, there's no harm in thinking big. I'm going to be an astronaut. That's it, son. You think big, and if you keep thinking big, you'll achieve that someday. Don't think so big. It'll not happen. You'll be disappointed with everything in life. So you can be very positive about it, but also you can be a little bit stupid and a little bit negative about it, not to think so big. Why do you think big all the time? Are you not just happy with what you have? Why aren't you just happy with the house you have, the car you drive, the job you have? Well, of course, people like to think big because they want to improve, and they like to believe that to improve, you need certain assets. You need a bigger house, a better job, a bigger car, and therefore you can think big. Mr. Big, to think big. As I said, there's no harm in thinking big. It gives you some ambition, and ambition, as long as it's controlled, is not such a bad thing. And if you or any of your family members really would like one-to-one lessons, well, you know what you can do. You just contact us on www.englishlessonviaskype.com, and you'll be able to apply for a free trial lesson. And then the last one, we have three options. I dread, or I hate, or a word you might not have heard of, I shudder to think. So we usually use this in the negative. I dread to think what the boss is going to say when I tell him that account has closed. I'd hate to think what he's likely to say when I give him the news that I crashed the car. I shudder to think what people are going to say when they get the next gas and electricity bill and they see that it's gone up by 300%. Okay, so I dread, I hate, or I shudder, all negative ways to say I dread to think what, I hate to think what, I shudder to think what the reaction will be. So they're all about negative situations. Okay, so I dread to think what the traffic is going to be like tomorrow if it snows overnight. So you're really not sure what it's going to be like. You'll have to get up early. I hate to think of him getting away with it. That's 3 or 4 times he's done it, and he always blames somebody else. I shudder to think where we'll be in 2 or 3 years' time if the cost of living continues to rise the way it's rising at the moment. Okay, so all negative thoughts. Okay, so we've got collocations connected with think. We've got 10 of them. Let me give them to you again. I've given you the examples and you can practice using them and see how you get on. So, think hard, think badly of or think badly about, think out loud, think twice or think again, think positive or positively, think straight or I can't think straight. Think for yourself. Think carefully. Think big. And then finally, I dread to think. I hate to drink. I think, sorry about that. I dread to think. I hate to think. And I shudder to think. Little fraudulent slip there. Okay, so think, drink, think. So I dread to think. I hate to think. I shudder to think what might happen. So you need to practice those. Make sure you can understand them. They're good collocations. They're good ways to practice your English. As always, if you don't understand it, you know the drill. Come back to me, www.englishlessonviaskype.com, and I'll give you some more examples. Okay, as always, I appreciate you watching, listening, and viewing everything. Join me again for the next lesson. This is Harry saying goodbye.